Jagan Mohan, School Assistant of English. In the previous 3 modules, we transacted 2 stories about flying, working with the text, working with the language, 2 poems, and question and answer analysis of question papers. And in this module, we are going to learn the supplementary readers, unit number 3, The Midnight Visitor, written by Robert Arthur. Let's go through the overview of the lesson. Overview of the lesson comprises, before you read, The Midnight Visitor, read and find, think about it, and talk about it. Let's move on to learning objectives. By the end of this module, you will be able to describe the main characters in the story, The Midnight Visitor. Read the story and summarize the events that take place from the beginning to the end. Analyze the quick-wittedness of Asbel. Explain how Fowler understood Asbel, the perfect secret agent. Justify the punishment for Max was appropriate. Assess the hidden message of the story. Now we move on to before you read. Before you read. Children, look at these 2 pictures. They are the cover pages of 2 popular English novels. They are Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's The Hound of the Baskervilles, and the second one is Jeffrey Archer's Over My Dead Body. Do you know the genres of these 2 books? Suspense, crime, investigation, etc. In these genres, the protagonists investigate the cases. Dear children, have you ever heard about detectives or secret agents? Some of you may know and some may not, right? Detectives investigate the cases of crime. In such a case, what is the difference between a police officer and a detective? The police officers help keep the public safe by preventing and punishing crimes. Detectives, on the other hand, conduct deep investigations of crime to keep the public safe and secured from serious offense. Children, shall we learn an interesting story? And it's going to be a detective story titled The Midnight Visitor, which offers a wonderful thrilling element for us. Let's proceed. The Midnight Visitor. Main characters in brief. Asbel was a secret agent. He was very fat. However, his quick-wittedness made the difference. Max was also a secret agent like Asbel, but then he belonged to the rival group. Another important character in the story is Fowler. He was a young and upcoming writer. He enjoyed the thrill and excitement of spying. Now, let's switch to the story. The Midnight Visitor. Read and find out. Asbel, who was a witty secret agent, was with his friend Fowler. Fowler was a young, romantic and upcoming writer. Both of them planned to spend a good time in the evening. As and when Fowler met Asbel, he was shocked as Asbel was exactly the opposite of what he had imagined about him. Asbel was very fat and sloppy. You're disappointed. You were told that I was a secret agent, a spy, dealing in espionage and danger. Instead, you have spent a dull evening with a sloppy fat man. You have been bored. Saying so, Asabul checked himself as he unlocked the door of his room. Asabul continues, "You are disillusioned, but take cheer, my young friend. Presently you will see a paper, a quite important paper, for which several men and women have risked their lives. Come to me." As he spoke, Asabul closed the door behind him. Then he switched on the light. There stood a man holding a small automatic pistol in his hand. Asabul recognized him as Max and asked him what he was doing in his room. The Midnight Visitor Glossary. Important words and their meanings: romantic, imaginative, possibly, just well enough, espionage, spying, sloppy, carelessly dressed. Dear children, here are a few questions for you. Glossary. What do you mean by the word espionage? Options: A. Spying, B. Escape, C. Mailing, D. Running. You are right. The correct answer is A. Spying. What do you mean by the word sloppy? A. Carefully dressed, B. Carelessly dressed, C. Tolerably, and D. Noisy. You are magnificent. The correct answer is B. Carelessly dressed. Think about it. Question number 3. Why was Fowler disappointed to see Asabul? Options: A. Because Asabul was slim, B. Because Asabul was dark, C. Because Asabul was tall, D. Because Asabul was fatty. You are right. The correct answer is D. Because Asabul was fatty. Question number 4. Asabul was A. Police, B. Thief, C. Secret agent, D. Raider. You are absolutely correct. The right answer is C. Secret agent. Max was slender, a little less than tall. He was also a spy, but belonged to Asabul's rival group. The report that is being brought to you tonight concerning some new missiles. I thought I would take it from you. It will be safer in my hands than in yours, said Max. Asabul quickly used his amazing presence of mind and made a story about a non-existing balcony outside his room. He told Max that he must have come up through the balcony, which was situated outside the window of Asabul's room. Asabul further told Max that earlier a man invaded into his room through the same balcony, and that Asabul would not leave the hotel staff as they didn't take a note of plugging it off even after seeing the last intrusion, and that Max's entry confirmed this. Fowler looked outside the window to look at the balcony, but he couldn't see anything as it was pitch dark outside. Then both Max and Asabul talked about the missile paper. There was a sudden knock at the door. Max was scared with the sudden development. Asabul said, "What will you do, Max, now? If I do not answer the door, they will enter anyway. The door is unlocked, and they will not hesitate to shoot. Send them away. I will wait on the balcony. Send them away, or I'll shoot and take my chances." Having warned Asabel, Max kept his body twisted so that his gun still covered the fat man and his guest. Max grasped the frame with his free hand to support himself. Then he swung his other leg up and over the windowsill. As the doorknob turned, Max pushed with his left hand to free himself from the sill and dripped to the balcony. And then, as he dropped, he screamed once shrilly. The door opened and a waiter stood there with a tray, a bottle and 2 glasses. Then he set the tray on the table and left the room. Fowler questioned, "But the police?" Asabel answered, "There were no police, only Henry, whom I was expecting." Fowler asked, "But won't that man out on the balcony?" "No, he won't return. You see, my young friend, there is no balcony," Asabel replied. Dear children, Asabel said there was no balcony. In such a case, what happened to Max? Any guesses? Yes, you're right. He might have fallen down from the 6th floor of the house, as there was no balcony, which eventually led to his death. Glossary. Important words and their meanings: prosaic, ordinary, chuckled, laughed quietly, missiles, weapons detected by remote control, shrilly, piercingly. Children, here are some questions for you. Glossary. First question: what do you mean by missiles? Options: A. Weapons detected by remote controls. B. Weapons detected by people. C. Weapons made of stones. D. None. You are right. The correct answer is A. Weapons detected by remote controls. Question number 2. What do you mean by shrilly? Options: A. Chill. B. Quietly. C. Ordinary. D. Piercingly. Magnificent. The right answer is D. Piercingly. Think about it. Question number 3. Who wanted to escape through balcony? Options: A. Asabel. B. Max. C. Fowler. D. Waiter. The right answer here is B. Max. Question number 4. What was the truth about the balcony? Options: A. It was not accessible. B. It was under repair. C. It was damaged. D. It was non-existent. Magnificent. The right answer is D. It was non-existent. Dear children, now we move on to the message of the story, The Midnight Visitor. Children, hope you have thoroughly enjoyed the story, The Midnight Visitor. However, have you understood the hidden message of the story? Let's go through it. Although the Midnight Visitor story is intended for pleasure reading of the learners, it offers a hidden message which is to be understood by everyone. Initially, Fowler gets disappointed with the chubbiness of Asabel. Later, he realizes that Asabel was too clever to deal with the risky situations. His physical appearance turned no obstacle to handle the situation. The story further conveys the message that everyone should develop quick-wittedness to escape from the sudden dangers. Now, we switch to the summary of the story Midnight Visitor. The Midnight Visitor is one of the best suspense thrillers for sure. Then, why don't we summarize this interesting story? Asabel was a fat man, yet he was quick-witted. Fowler was a young writer who wanted to spend that evening with Asabel. He was disappointed with the chubby looks of Asabel. Both of them reached Asabel's room, which was on the 6th floor. They shocked to see a man holding a pistol in his hand. The man was Max, a secret agent from the rival group of Asabel. Max sought the report of missiles from Asabel. Asabel, however, turned too smart and scripted a strategy to escape from the threat. Asabel told Max about a non-existing balcony outside his room. Max believed in the words of Asabel. He said he came into the room using a passkey. As somebody knocked at the door suddenly, Asabel said it was police who were knocking at the door. Threatened by unexpected development, Max jumped off the window sill as they thought he would safely reach the balcony. But then, nothing of that sort happened. As there was no balcony, Max died. Now, children, shall we do an interesting exercise under the heading Talk About It? Then, let's forge ahead to talk about it. Children, let's do an exercise under the heading Talk About It. In the story, Asabel shows great presence of mind or the ability to think quickly and act calmly and wisely in a situation of danger and surprise. Give examples from your own experience or narrate a story which shows someone's presence of mind. Here is an example for you. It happened 2 years ago. I was studying 8th class then. My parents went to a marriage. I was alone in my home. As the clock showed 9 o'clock, I went to bed. I had a sound sleep for some time. However, I got up suddenly as there was a noise outside the window of my bedroom. I peeped through a small hole from the window to know where the sound came from. My goodness, there was a man in the backyard. Perhaps he was mulling over how to enter inside. Fortunately, a sudden flash of thought came into my mind. I switched on the light first. Then I mimicked my father. Saraswati, bring me the dog stick and knife. There was a noise outside. Maybe it could be a snake. I will kill it, I said. Within no time, I heard a noise, somebody escaping from my house. Needless to say, the thief escaped from my home, hearing my words. Let's proceed to assessment questions. Dear children, here are a few assessment questions for you. Question number 1. Why did Max want to escape through the balcony? Options: A. To avoid the reports. B. To avoid the police. C. He received a call from his wife. And D. His mission was completed. You are correct. The right answer is B. To avoid the police. Second question. How was Asabel's appearance as a spy? A. Strong and heavy. B. Sloppy and dull. C. Fit and active. D. Lean and thin. You are right. The correct answer is B. Sloppy and dull. Question number 3. Fowler was a young upcoming writer who was fascinated about A. Espionage. B. Games. C. Movies. D. Fights. Magnificent. The right answer is A. Espionage. Fourth question. What do you mean by chuckled? A. Cried. B. Shouted. C. Murmured. And D. Laughed quietly. You are perfect. The right answer is laughed quietly. Question 5. What do you mean by prosaic? A. Ordinary. B. Special. C. Extra. D. High pitch. You are perfect. The right answer here is A. Ordinary. Question number 6. What happened to Max at the end? Options. A. He escaped. B. He died. C. He was injured. D. He was caught by police. You are absolutely correct. The right answer is B. He died. Now, let's switch to learning outcomes. Learning outcomes. By the end of this module, you have been able to describe the main characters in the story, The Midnight Visitor. Read the story and summarize the events that take place from the beginning to the end. Analyze the quick-wittedness of Asabel. Explain how Fowler understood Asabel, the perfect secret agent. Justify the punishment for Max was appropriate. Assess the hidden message of the story.